The restaurant hummed with the steady rhythm of diners chatting, cutlery clinking, and plates being set down on polished wooden tables. It was just another Friday night in one of Barcelona's most popular eateries, La Bella Vita, known for its cozy ambiance and authentic Mediterranean flavors. Among the staff bustling around, Olivia, a young waitress with striking green eyes and an infectious smile, moved gracefully between tables. She had worked at La Bella Vita for over 2 years and prided herself on her ability to remember regular customers, juggle complicated orders, and maintain her cheerful demeanor even during the busiest of shifts. This particular evening, though, would prove unforgettable for reasons she could have never anticipated. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. The dinner rush was at its peak, and Olivia was swamped. She had just finished serving a table of 8 when she was assigned a new one near the back, partially obscured from the rest of the restaurant by a wall adorned with trailing ivy. It was a quieter spot, often chosen by couples or people who wanted privacy. When Olivia glanced at the reservation, her heart skipped a beat. The name read simply, Neymar. She blinked, unsure if it was a coincidence. Neymar was a common name in Brazil, but surely not the Neymar, the international football superstar known for his dazzling skills, charismatic personality, and larger-than-life presence. Still, as she approached the table, the familiar face confirmed her suspicions. Sitting there, looking relaxed in a crisp white shirt and jeans, was Neymar Jr. himself. His signature diamond stud earrings glinted in the soft light, and he offered a friendly smile as Olivia reached the table. For a moment, she froze. She had served her share of celebrities at La Bella Vita, given its proximity to Barcelona's elite neighborhoods. But Neymar was in a league of his own, both literally and figuratively. She quickly composed herself, though, masking her nerves with the professionalism that had earned her praise from her manager time and again. "Good evening," she said, her voice steady despite her excitement. "Welcome to La Bella Vita. My name is Olivia, and I'll be your server tonight." Neymar returned her greeting warmly, his Portuguese accent unmistakable as he replied, "Thank you, Olivia. It's a pleasure to be here." He was accompanied by 2 friends, both equally charming but far less recognizable. They chatted casually as Olivia handed them menus, briefly explaining the specials of the evening. Neymar listened attentively, his eyes meeting hers now and then, which made her heart race. As she walked away to fetch their drinks, she overheard one of his friends teasing him about something, their laughter lighthearted and infectious. Olivia couldn't help but marvel at how normal he seemed. For someone so famous, he carried himself with an easygoing charm that put people at ease. Still, she remained focused on her job, determined to treat him no differently than any other customer. She knew better than to gush or ask for autographs, a faux pas that had cost a former co-worker her job. Throughout the evening, Olivia attended to Neymar's table with her usual efficiency. She noticed how he carefully considered her recommendations, opting for a seafood risotto and a glass of red wine. His friends chose similar dishes, and their table quickly filled with the vibrant aromas of Mediterranean cuisine. Neymar seemed genuinely delighted with the food, occasionally nodding appreciatively or commenting on the flavors. He thanked her each time she refilled their glasses or brought out another course, his gratitude always sincere. What struck Olivia most, though, was his kindness. When a young boy from another table timidly approached with his parents, clutching a napkin and a pen, Neymar didn't hesitate to crouch down and sign the makeshift autograph with a smile. He even posed for a quick photo, much to the boy's delight. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes about his character. As the night wound down, Olivia brought the check to their table, neatly tucked into a leather folio. Neymar glanced at it briefly before pulling out his credit card. After the transaction was complete, he slid the folio back to Olivia with a smile. "Thank you for everything tonight," he said. "The food was incredible, and your service was even better." Her cheeks flushed at the compliment, but she managed a polite reply. "Thank you, Mr. Neymar. It was my pleasure." As she walked away, Olivia opened the folio to collect the receipt and ensure everything was in order. What she saw stopped her in her tracks. Alongside the signed receipt was a folded note and a tip that left her momentarily speechless, a stack of crisp €100 bills amounting to far more than the cost of the meal. Heart pounding, she unfolded the note. Written in neat, elegant handwriting were the words, "Olivia, thank you for your wonderful service tonight. You treated us with kindness and respect, not as celebrities but as ordinary people. I could tell you have a genuine heart. Please use this tip to chase your dreams, whatever they may be. Never stop believing in yourself. Neymar Jr. Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes as she read the note. She had always prided herself on her professionalism, but she never expected such recognition. The generous tip was overwhelming, but it was the message that truly moved her. Neymar had seen something in her that even she sometimes doubted, a potential to do more, to reach higher. Her co-workers noticed her standing motionless near the service station, and one of them asked, "Are you okay, Olivia?" She quickly wiped her tears and nodded, holding up the note. "You won't believe this," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. Word of Neymar's gesture spread quickly among the staff, and the restaurant buzzed with a newfound energy. Olivia, however, couldn't shake the profound sense of gratitude she felt. That night, as she walked home through the quiet streets, clutching the note and the tip, she replayed the evening in her mind. She thought about Neymar's humility, his kindness, and the way he had seen beyond the surface. For weeks after the encounter, Olivia kept the note tucked safely in her journal, reading it whenever she needed encouragement. The money allowed her to finally enroll in a photography course she had dreamed of taking for years, a passion she had set aside to make ends meet. Each time she picked up her camera, she thought of Neymar's words and the faith he had placed in her. Their brief interaction became a turning point in Olivia's life, a reminder that even the smallest gestures could have the most profound impact. Neymar's visit to La Bella Vita was more than just another celebrity sighting. It was a moment of connection, humanity, and inspiration that neither of them would forget. In the days that followed Neymar's visit to La Bella Vita, Olivia found herself reflecting on the sheer unpredictability of life. She had always believed in the magic of small moments, but nothing had prepared her for how a single encounter could alter the trajectory of her path. She had tucked Neymar's handwritten note into the back of her journal, reading it often as if the words held a kind of power, a beacon of encouragement guiding her forward. Despite the lingering euphoria from that night, Olivia was careful to keep her feet on the ground. Life had not been kind to her in many ways, and she knew better than to expect miracles. Growing up in a small village outside Barcelona, Olivia had learned early on the importance of hard work and resilience. Her family had struggled financially for most of her childhood, and she had taken on various odd jobs as a teenager to help make ends meet. Photography had always been her dream, but it had remained just that, a dream, due to the pressures of survival. When she moved to Barcelona, Olivia had hoped to find a better life. The city's vibrant streets and rich culture had filled her with hope, and landing the job at La Bella Vita felt like a small victory in her pursuit of stability. Yet the years had passed with little change to her circumstances, and her camera sat collecting dust on a shelf in her tiny apartment. The note from Neymar, however, reignited a spark she hadn't felt in a long time. The photography course she enrolled in became a sanctuary. For the first time in years, Olivia found herself waking up with a sense of purpose that extended beyond paying bills or serving tables. The course was held twice a week in a small but well-equipped studio near the city center. Olivia was initially intimidated by the other students, many of whom seemed far more experienced and confident. However, her passion for the art quickly overcame her insecurities. She spent hours outside of class wandering through Barcelona's streets with her camera, capturing candid moments. A musician playing a soulful tune in the Gothic quarter, a couple sharing laughter over ice cream, an elderly woman feeding pigeons in Placa Catalunya. Her photos began to tell stories, each frame imbued with the emotions and beauty she saw in everyday life. As Olivia's confidence grew, so did her determination to make something of herself. She began sharing her work on social media, creating a modest but dedicated following. People responded to her ability to capture raw, unfiltered humanity in her images. Comments poured in from strangers who found her photos moving, and for the first time Olivia felt seen, not as a waitress but as an artist. Meanwhile, her shifts at La Bella Vita continued as usual, though her co-workers often teased her about her celebrity encounter. They joked about how Neymar had given her the golden touch, turning her life around with a single note. Olivia laughed along with them, but deep down, she knew the truth was more nuanced. Neymar's gesture had been a catalyst, but it was her own hard work and determination that had allowed her to seize the opportunity. Months passed, and Olivia's life began to change in ways she could hardly believe. Her photography caught the attention of a local gallery owner who offered her a chance to showcase her work in an upcoming exhibition. It was a small event, but the opportunity felt monumental. Olivia threw herself into preparation, selecting her best pieces and carefully curating the display to tell a cohesive story. The theme she chose was Unseen Moments, a tribute to the quiet beauty that often goes unnoticed in the rush of everyday life. The night of the exhibition was both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. Dressed in a simple but elegant black dress, Olivia greeted guests with a mixture of pride and disbelief as they admired her work. Among the attendees were friends, co-workers, and even a few of her regular customers from La Bella Vita who had heard about her burgeoning career. The gallery owner had also invited a handful of local art critics, whose presence added an extra layer of pressure. As the evening wore on, Olivia found herself surrounded by praise. People complimented her eye for detail, her ability to capture emotion, and the authenticity of her perspective. One critic even described her work as a breath of fresh air in a city teeming with predictable aesthetics. Olivia's heart swelled with pride, but she remained humble, knowing this was only the beginning. In a moment of quiet reflection during the event, Olivia thought back to Neymar. She wondered if he had any idea of the impact he had made on her life. She hadn't reached out to thank him personally, partly because she didn't know how and partly because she feared it would come across as insincere. Still, she hoped that somehow he would hear about her journey and know that his small act of kindness had been the spark that set her dreams alight. As her career gained momentum, Olivia began to split her time between photography and her job at La Bella Vita. She wasn't ready to leave the restaurant just yet, as it provided her with a sense of stability and camaraderie that she valued deeply. Her manager, Mr. Santos, had been incredibly supportive, often giving her extra flexibility in her schedule to accommodate her growing commitments. One evening, while Olivia was working a quiet shift, a familiar figure walked through the doors of the restaurant. She froze for a moment, her heart racing as she recognized Neymar once again. This time, he was alone, dressed casually in a hoodie and jeans, his face partially hidden beneath a baseball cap. Yet there was no mistaking him. He spotted her immediately and smiled, walking over to her station. "Olivia," he said warmly, "I wasn't sure if you still worked here." Her voice wavered slightly as she replied, "Mr. Neymar, what a surprise. Yes, I'm still here. Can I get you a table?" He nodded, and she led him to a quiet corner of the restaurant. As she handed him the menu, she couldn't help but notice the curious glances from other diners who were beginning to recognize him. Neymar seemed unbothered by the attention, focusing instead on her with the same easy charm he had displayed months ago. Over the course of the meal, Olivia found herself relaxing. Neymar was as kind and engaging as she remembered, asking her about her life and work. Tentatively, she told him about the photography course, the gallery exhibition, and how his note had inspired her to take a leap of faith. As she spoke, his expression shifted from polite interest to genuine pride. "I'm so glad to hear that," he said. "You deserve all of it, Olivia. I could tell that night you had something special." His words brought tears to her eyes, but she quickly blinked them away, not wanting to appear overly emotional. Neymar stayed for over an hour, enjoying his meal and chatting with her whenever she came by his table. Before he left, he asked for her social media handle so he could follow her photography work. Olivia hesitated for a moment, unsure if he was serious, but when he handed her his phone, she realized he was. After he left, Olivia felt a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. She couldn't help but wonder what would come of their renewed connection. True to his word, Neymar followed her on social media, occasionally liking her posts and even sharing one of her photos with his millions of followers. The exposure was staggering. Olivia's account gained thousands of new followers overnight, many of whom sent her messages of encouragement and admiration. The ripple effects of Neymar's continued support were profound. Olivia began receiving inquiries from potential clients, including magazines, brands, and even a travel agency that wanted her to document destinations around Spain. It was a dream come true, but it also required a leap of faith. With the encouragement of her friends and family, Olivia decided to leave her job at La Bella Vita and pursue photography full-time. Her departure from the restaurant was bittersweet. La Bella Vita had been her home for years, a place where she had grown and forged lasting friendships. On her last day, her co-workers threw her a small farewell party. complete with cake and a heartfelt speech from Mr. Santos, who praised her determination and wished her success in her new career. Olivia left with a heart full of gratitude, knowing she would always carry the memories of her time there. Over the next few years, Olivia's career flourished. Her photos were featured in international publications, and she traveled to places she had only dreamed of visiting. Despite her growing fame, she remained grounded, often returning to Barcelona to visit her family and reconnect with the city that had shaped her journey. Through it all, she never forgot Neymar. His kindness had set everything in motion, and she often wondered if she would have found the courage to pursue her dreams without his encouragement. One day, as she sat by the beach with her camera, she composed a message to him, thanking him once again for the role he had played in her life. To her surprise, he replied within minutes, expressing his pride in her accomplishments and reminding her to keep chasing her dreams. Their connection, though sporadic, remained a source of inspiration for Olivia. It served as a reminder that the smallest acts of kindness could have the most profound impact, a lesson she carried with her as she continued to capture the beauty of the world through her lens. Olivia's transformation from a waitress at La Bella Vita to a celebrated photographer was a journey filled with highs, lows, and unexpected surprises. Despite her newfound success, Olivia remained true to the values instilled in her during years of struggle: humility, gratitude, and an unwavering work ethic. The world of photography was vast, and as her career blossomed, she found herself venturing into areas she had never imagined. One of her most significant breakthroughs came during a photography competition in Paris, an event that showcased talent from around the globe. The contest, hosted by a renowned art organization, invited participants to submit portfolios based on a central theme: human connection. Olivia saw this as the perfect opportunity to weave her signature storytelling into a broader narrative. Her submission consisted of a series of candid photographs capturing intimate moments, strangers helping one another, parents and children embracing, and fleeting interactions that spoke volumes without words. When the results were announced, Olivia was floored to learn that she had won first prize. The recognition came with not only a substantial monetary reward, but also the chance to showcase her work in a solo exhibition at a prestigious gallery in Paris. It was a milestone that catapulted her into the upper echelons of the photography world. The exhibition opened to critical acclaim, with art enthusiasts and media outlets praising Olivia's ability to evoke powerful emotions through her lens. The centerpiece of the collection was a photograph titled "The Note," a poignant black and white image of a folded piece of paper placed beside a vintage camera. Though subtle and understated, the piece carried deep personal significance for Olivia, symbolizing the handwritten note Neymar had left her at La Bella Vita. She didn't explicitly share the backstory with the public, preferring to let viewers interpret the image on their own terms, but the photograph became one of the most talked about pieces of the exhibition. As her profile grew, so did the invitations to collaborate with influential figures and organizations. Olivia was approached by humanitarian groups to document their efforts in underserved communities, an opportunity that resonated deeply with her. Over the next year, she traveled to remote villages in Africa, Asia, and South America, capturing the resilience and spirit of people living in challenging conditions. Her work brought attention to issues often overlooked by mainstream media, and several of her photographs were featured in campaigns that raised significant funds for causes such as education, healthcare, and clean water. One of the most profound moments during these travels occurred in a small village in Brazil. While photographing a community event, Olivia noticed a group of children playing football on a makeshift field. Their laughter and energy reminded her of Neymar's infectious passion for the game. She spent hours capturing their joy, their bare feet kicking up clouds of dust as they chased the ball with unbridled enthusiasm. At the end of the day, she showed the children the photos on her camera, and their wide-eyed wonder left her smiling for hours. The following week, Olivia decided to take a detour to visit Santos Neymar's hometown. Though she didn't expect to see him there, she felt compelled to explore the place that had shaped one of the most influential figures in her life. Walking through the streets, she found herself drawn to the vibrant murals depicting Neymar's journey from a young boy with a dream to a global icon. The pride the locals felt for their hometown hero was palpable, and Olivia couldn't help but feel a deep sense of connection. Back in Barcelona, Olivia's career continued to flourish. She became a sought-after speaker at art and photography conferences, where she shared her journey and insights. Her story of going from a waitress to a celebrated artist resonated with audiences, many of whom saw her as a symbol of hope and perseverance. At one such event, a young aspiring photographer approached her, nervously clutching a portfolio of his work. "Miss Olivia," he began, his voice trembling, "your story inspires me so much. I've been working as a dishwasher to save money for a camera. Could you take a look at my photos and tell me if I have any potential?" Olivia smiled warmly, seeing a reflection of her younger self in his earnest eyes. She took the time to go through his portfolio, offering constructive feedback and words of encouragement. Before he left, she handed him one of her cameras, a spare she no longer used, and told him to keep shooting. The gratitude in his expression reminded her of the profound impact Neymar's gesture had had on her own life. Despite her busy schedule, Olivia made it a priority to give back to the community that had supported her. She organized free photography workshops for underprivileged youth, teaching them not only technical skills, but also the importance of finding their unique voice through art. Many of her students went on to pursue creative careers, crediting Olivia as the mentor who had believed in them when no one else did. Meanwhile, Neymar and Olivia maintained a sporadic but meaningful friendship. Every now and then, he would comment on her work or send a brief message to check in. Though their lives were worlds apart, his filled with the relentless pace of professional football and hers with the demands of the art world, they shared a mutual respect and understanding that transcended their differences. One day, Neymar surprised Olivia with an invitation to photograph a special charity match he was hosting in Rio de Janeiro. The event was aimed at raising funds for local youth programs, and Neymar wanted Olivia to capture the essence of the day. Honored by the opportunity, she agreed without hesitation. The match was a spectacular event, featuring not only some of the biggest names in football, but also a sense of camaraderie and joy that Olivia found deeply moving. She moved along the sidelines with her camera, capturing the players' laughter, the ecstatic cheers of the crowd, and the raw emotions that filled the stadium. One of her favorite shots was of Neymar embracing a young fan who had run onto the field, an image that perfectly encapsulated his genuine connection with people. When the event concluded, Neymar took a moment to thank Olivia personally. "You have a gift," he said, his tone sincere. "You see the world in a way most people don't, and you show others that beauty through your work. I'm glad I left that note for you." Olivia felt a lump in her throat as she replied, "And I'm glad you did. You changed my life, Neymar. I'll never forget that." As the years went on, Olivia's legacy continued to grow. She published a memoir, Through the Lens, a journey of dreams and determination, which became a bestseller and inspired countless readers. The book chronicled her life story, from her humble beginnings to her rise as an internationally acclaimed photographer. Though she mentioned Neymar's role in her journey, she did so with subtlety, focusing on the broader themes of kindness, perseverance, and the power of believing in oneself. The note Neymar had left her remained one of Olivia's most treasured possessions. Framed and displayed in her studio, it served as a constant reminder of the moment that had changed everything. Whenever she faced doubt or fatigue, she would glance at the note and feel a renewed sense of purpose. Eventually, Olivia's work came full circle. She returned to La Bella Vita, not as a waitress, but as a celebrated artist hosting a private exhibition in the restaurant that had been her starting point. The event was attended by friends, family, and even Neymar, who made a surprise appearance. As the night unfolded, Olivia reflected on the extraordinary journey that had brought her back to where it all began, her heart filled with gratitude for every twist and turn along the way. The night at La Bella Vita, where Olivia returned as an honored artist, was a culmination of her incredible journey. The restaurant, once filled with her hurried footsteps and trays of food, now served as a gallery of her most poignant works. Each photograph hung delicately on the walls, illuminated by soft golden light. Guests moved from frame to frame, marveling at the stories her images told, the layers of emotion captured in each moment. For Olivia, it felt surreal to stand in the place that had been her sanctuary during years of struggle, now transformed into a stage for her triumph. Among the crowd, familiar faces emerged, her co-workers from her waitress days, her photography mentor, and even some of her first customers who remembered her cheerful smile and impeccable service. They greeted her warmly, some sharing stories of how they always knew she was destined for greatness. Their words, though humbling, felt like echoes of a life that had once been hers, but now seemed so distant. As the evening progressed, Olivia took a moment to herself, standing near the bar where she had spent countless hours working. She looked around, marveling at how life had come full circle. The event felt like a dream she was afraid to wake from. In the background, she heard soft laughter and clinking glasses, the same sounds that had once accompanied her nightly shifts. But this time, those sounds were celebrating her success. Neymar arrived discreetly, dressed in a tailored blazer and slacks, his signature charm evident even in his understated entrance. He approached Olivia with a wide smile, his presence drawing the attention of many guests. She greeted him with genuine warmth, thanking him once again for attending. Neymar, in turn, congratulated her, expressing his admiration for how far she had come. "I always knew you had this in you," he said, "but seeing it all come to life is something else. You've created something truly extraordinary." Olivia smiled, her gratitude swelling in her chest. "You have no idea how much your encouragement meant to me. It's like you gave me permission to believe in myself." They spent the next few minutes walking through the exhibit together, Neymar taking his time to appreciate each photograph. He stopped in front of the note, his expression softening as he recognized its significance. Without a word, he turned to Olivia, his eyes conveying an unspoken understanding of the profound impact his gesture had on her life. The evening's highlight came when Olivia stepped onto a small stage to address the guests. She spoke from the heart, recounting her journey with raw honesty. She talked about the struggles she had faced, the self-doubt that had often crept in, and the pivotal moment when a simple note had changed everything. Though she didn't name Neymar outright, everyone in the room could sense the weight of her words. "I learned that kindness," Olivia said, her voice steady but filled with emotion, "no matter how small it seems, can spark a chain reaction that changes lives. I stand here tonight because someone saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and they reminded me of the power of belief. For that, I will always be grateful." The room erupted in applause, the sound reverberating through the restaurant and into Olivia's soul. She scanned the crowd, her eyes landing on Neymar, who clapped the loudest, his pride evident. It was a moment she would carry with her forever, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the interconnectedness of lives. As the evening wound down, Olivia found herself outside the restaurant, looking up at the stars that glittered above the Barcelona skyline. Neymar joined her, the two standing in comfortable silence for a while. Finally, he spoke. "So, what's next for you?" he asked, his tone curious. Olivia exhaled, her breath visible in the cool night air. "I want to keep telling stories," she said, "not just through my lens, but by helping others find their voices. I've been given so much, I want to pay it forward." Neymar nodded, his smile widening. "I have no doubt you'll do that. You've already inspired more people than you know." Their conversation drifted into lighter topics, laughter punctuating their words as they reminisced about their shared history. For Olivia, the night marked not just a celebration of her achievements, but a moment of reflection on how far she had come and how many lives she hoped to touch in the future. As the final guests left and the lights inside La Bella Vita dimmed, Olivia lingered for a moment longer, standing where it had all begun. The waitress who had once served tables with quiet determination was now a celebrated artist with a world of possibilities ahead of her. And as she walked away into the cool Barcelona night, her heart was full, not just with dreams fulfilled, but with dreams yet to come. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on the waitress's reaction to Neymar's note? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.